This show is presented by the 323 Network. You can watch all your favorite 323 friends and shows on the 323 Network YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms at 323Reid, and support us as we continue to grow at patreon.com/323Reid. That's 323REID. Folks, it is another Top 5 Tuesday, and we're going to be going over some potential breakouts in the NFL for this year. Not rookie sensations, but people who have a chance to develop more and become true stars in this league. And we're doing it today in honor and shout out to @ChooseCarefully. It's a good, you actually CHEWS. You got your Lionel laugh, buddy. Hey, thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the comments. They said that they don't, they don't have all the, annoying memes and regurgitory stuff that these other channels have. They're right. We don't. We don't get annoying at all. Not at this time of year. But choose. Sorry, once Scott and Zoo and Luis get back, that pause button's gonna be getting hit like crazy. You'll go down the line. We'll see if they make it to video 3. In the meantime, let's get it going. This is Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5 breakouts in the NFL for 2025.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's Top 5.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Ah, shit, here we go again. This is the 323, and it is Top 5 Tuesday. I am your host, Reid Murphy. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining us week to week as we get closer to the NFL season. We actually had football. We had football. Chargers, Lions. It was a bloodbath. Kyle Allen throwing pick after pick after pick, and then Hendon Hooker throwing picks. It was so nice. Trey Lance might be a Hall of Famer now. Who knows? I think he's going to take the job from Herbert. We'll find out. We'll discuss all that, when things are a little more reasonable. Also, shout out to Marv Levy. Happy birthday to him. Congrats to all the Hall of Famers from over the weekend. We had a great set. Sterling Sharp, totally not overshadowed by his brother's ESPN firing. We don't have Scott to talk about that right now. We will catch up. Don't worry. And then Antonio Gates, Jared Allen, Eric Allen, feeling old now when you're starting to see the potential first ballot Hall of Famers next year, and Larry Fitzgerald, Jason Witten. I feel like there's going to be an argument with Jason Witten. We'll get to that down the road eventually too. But today, of course, is Top 5 Tuesday. We're going over breakout candidates for the 2025 NFL season. Shouldn't be a long show today. Next couple ones, actually. Next week we'll have the top 5 off-season moves that were made, not just preseason moves, because we are still watching Terry McLaurin, and look at that, little Micah Parsons. Could be wearing, if we're lucky, burgundy and gold. If we're unfortunate, he'll be probably in Kelly Green in Philly eating cheesesteaks or some shit. But we will get to that when we get to that. Maybe something will happen by then. But this week we're going to be talking about breakout candidates, and I want to define that as non-rookie of the year type players last year. Now, breakout candidates, of course, can be from whatever range of years that they've been around, but it's typically going to be somebody that could have struggled as a rookie, development-wise, things are a little slower. You're not expecting these guys to really kill it as rookies, but maybe some of them. And we'll get through them as we go through this list. And so most of these guys, almost actually all of them, are second-year players that I'm expecting to see some type of extra development from, to see the potential really, truly arrive this season. And this will be on offense, defense, and some of the people that we're not including on this list, but they just came a little short, are OLIs, honorable mentions. Outside looking in. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback from the Atlanta Falcons. He was our big, you go back to our live draft viewing, that was a shock to us, was watching Penix just completely nuke whatever the Kirk Cousins situation in Atlanta was supposed to be. And Penix wound up taking the reins last season for Atlanta, performed relatively well. And this is a dude who, as a veteran quarterback in college at Washington, been playing for a while and coming into the league with a older, more mature nuance and wisdom and awareness to him, should be able to handle the reins well as a starter. Will he be a superstar? Probably not. But can he be somebody that's just, consistent, can hold things down? Yes, I think he can be. But it all depends on this Atlanta offense. Can you trust weapons that he's supposed to have, like Kyle Pitts, to finally take a step and develop? Can you trust Drake London to continue his development after he had a little bit of a breakout last year himself? And you also have Bijan Robinson at running back. That will help, but the O-line isn't something that you can totally trust, nor can you trust that division or team whatsoever. So I think he'll be consistent, but I don't think you're going to see anything star-worthy from him this season. Same goes for receivers like Xavier Worthy from the Kansas City Chiefs, who had a bit of a breakout himself last year. You'd like to see him really take the rise and take the step to a true number one receiver, but I'm just not sure if that's his thing here. You get the Tyreek Hill comparisons because of the speed and the deep threat, but when looking a little further into his stat line and a little further into his film, you're getting somebody who will be a consistent weapon, but you need a number one receiver for him. Getting Rashee Rice back would help, but we're still trying to see if there's going to be a suspension for his incidents last year. And he's also coming off of a very bad leg injury from last season. Not self-inflicted, but inflicted by his quarterback. Also looking at Rome Odunze, wide receiver for the Chicago Bears, second-year player there, who, now that Keenan Allen's gone, will be the true number two receiver for this team. Can he step up on it? I do think so. I think he has all the potential in the world to do it, but with Ben Johnson, the former offensive coordinator for the Lions, now taking over as head coach of the Bears, you're probably going to see a more run-heavy offense and not as many opportunities for Odunze to really take over games, especially when DJ Moore is still on the opposite side as the number one receiver. Also, I'm going to be looking at Brandon Coleman, who was a tackle for the Washington Commanders. He will now move to guard after the acquisitions of Laramie Tunsil and Josh Connerly Jr. in the draft. Coleman, I really do think, can step up and be awesome on the inside. It's just going to be a little tougher now with key pieces hurt on the interior. And will we see a sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels that might affect? Who knows? Terrion Arnold, cornerback for the Detroit Lions. He did not make the list. He didn't register an interception last year, but he did post 10 pass breakups and a 57% completion rating allowed. Pretty strong dude. They're going to need him after some losses on their own defensive backfield. And finally, I have Jaden Hicks as an OLI. He's a safety for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to be replacing Justin Reid, who was not the first name that you think about on the Chiefs defense, but was a true playmaker and a true hold-it-down star for them, who they lost in free agency. Hicks, I really do think he might not be a household name when it's all said and done, but you have Steve Spagnuolo as your defensive coordinator, your coach, your developer. That team is really great at developing young corners who you never think of and all of a sudden just pop up. Even Justin Reid was not a true star ahead of his time in Kansas City, but really developed into something more and something more consistent for that team. So I think the same can be said for Jaden Hicks, but we will only see as time goes on. The first name on this list, however, at number 5, we have a receiver, somebody that we really like on this show, somebody that College Shame Day Scott Elliott really loves and appreciates. That is Keon Coleman. He is wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. In his rookie season, Coleman had 29 receptions for 556 yards, 4 touchdowns, only in 13 games. Dude was a little bit slow to develop, and it wasn't an expectation for him to be like the superstar number one receiver for them, more of somebody that can develop over time, and I think that is what we're going to continue to see. He's worked really closely with Josh Allen. If he can stay healthy, I think that you could actually see these numbers really start to double. Recently, the Bills have had Khalil Shakir, their number one receiver for now, suffer a ankle injury in practice, so he's going to be week to week. It's time for Keon Coleman to step up. I think that you're going to see it. This is a dude who had great route running and body catch development over at FSU. Can he finally take that next step? This is a team and an offense and a quarterback who have done nothing but develop and learn off of it and build off of it. I think that's going to happen for Keon Coleman going into this season. And it's something that Buffalo needs, because that's the only thing about this team that I don't trust is their receiving core. But when you have potential and star potential like a receiver for Keon Coleman, this could be it. This could be the dude. I sped through him because I'm very excited about number 4. Who cares about number 5? Might as well put it as an OLI when number 4 is a Washington Commander. It's very DC nerdy in here, just to give you the full breakdown and full attention deficit sidetracking here. That is a Jaden Daniels Spider-Man. It's freaking awesome. And I'll try to do a close-up on it in post, but this was bought over at AwesomeCon. Shout out Angela Penegua for getting this for me. And it's so freaking cool. The same goes here for this Miles Morales in DC. And of course, the Fantastic Four shirt. Nerdy-ass show. This is a nerdy-ass show. And like I said, we'll get to more things when the new season officially starts. Fantastic Four talk, MCU talk with Zahir Ali, our Commandalorian. And yes, Homerism in DC. But that only leads me to number 4 here. Cornerback Mike Sainristil from the Washington Commanders. Mikey, he doesn't like to be called Mikey, the new Agent Zero in DC. He had 9 pass breakups last season, 2 interceptions, allowed a 92.8 passer rating in games, and was 16th in receptions allowed. This is a dude who was not playing his natural position of slot corner for the NFL. He was a slot corner in college. That is your guy who is going to hold the inside of the field down and take on those type of slot receivers and hold the middle of the field to his own personal island. He did not play that last year and still played admirably well on the outside. You even saw some of the impact that he had during the postseason. And you now give him the addition of another rookie corner in Trey Amos, who they drafted, and pairing him up with a hopefully healthy Marshawn Lattimore, who he admitted himself that his lingering leg injuries hurt his performance. And this is after the midseason acquisition by Washington from New Orleans. Amos is a natural outside corner. Lattimore is a natural outside. Give me Mike Evans. I'm going to smack the shit out of him. Number 1 cover corner. You put those 2 guys there, you're allowing Sainristil to now hold the inside of the field as the defense's primary slot corner, which, if he excelled at that in college, has excelled at it in any opportunity that he's had, and now you're going to give it to him in the pros after a very successful and kind of eye-opening rookie year, you're going to see nothing but development for this dude on the defensive side. Now, the only thing that could hurt, and the only thing that's there to watch for Washington, is next to no pass rush ability by this team. And that could be the only severe decline for the defense. They lost Dante Fowler Jr. They signed Von Miller, but it's Von Miller at 35 plus years old. He will be a probably pass rush specialist for the team. Still not enough. We'll see if, another sophomore player in Jashawn Newton will be able to step up as well and maybe help out there. But that's the only thing I can see being a damper to Sainristil's potential second-year breakout. Now, somebody who also could have a breakout after a very quiet and sneaky rookie season is, shout out, choose carefully, and Luis Martinez, New York Jets' very own Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen was the Jets' rookie running back last season. He had 92 carries for 334 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a quiet season, but it was strong if you were actually watching and keeping a hold of this. He ran the ball 16 times when the Jets needed 2 yards or less for a first down, and he converted 14 of those attempts, averaging 3.3 yards per carry on those runs. That's what you need, especially on a team that is now getting a new offense, a whole new makeover, and with a little bit of a decline from their star running back in Breece Hall. The Jets added offensive coach Tanner Engstrand from the Lions. He is now going to be their offensive coordinator. And that offense, you saw 2 different running backs have star-making seasons in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They each blew up. And I think that this is going to be the same and similar kind of offense where you're going to see Breece Hall get a lot of carries, and maybe it will be potential goodness and a lot of eating for him, but Braylon Allen is going to be able to build upon his strong season last year and also get plenty more carries, and especially just at the goal line. This is a kind of dude, when you're getting those kinds of runs and that kind of specialty for a 2 yards or less situation, I bet that you're going to see Braylon Allen a lot more on the goal line and getting these chances to really make a big, at the very least, fantasy impact for himself. And that's something that I'm sure Luis Martinez is going to bring up a couple weeks when we do our top 5 fantasy players to watch. Number 2 on the list for top 5 breakouts. I told you this was going to be a quick show. Sorry to zoo on your long drive, but come on the show, we'll make it longer. Pause?
Now go.
That's enough. Number 2 on the list, we have actually somebody that you wouldn't think about for a breakout season, but last year's number 1 overall pick in the draft, quarterback Caleb Williams. The Chicago Bears' new franchise quarterback, hopefully somebody that can actually solidify that position for them for years now. In his full rookie season starting last year, Williams threw for 3,500 yards, 3,541 to be exact, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions with a 62.5 completion rating. You now add in a offensive genius. I hate that term for coaches, but that's the best way to describe Ben Johnson, who was the former Lions offensive coordinator, the golden child there, who is now taking over as head coach in Chicago. You're giving him you're giving him a first-round tight end in Colson Loveland, who they really, really loved, and a second-round wide receiver in Luther Burden III that is somebody that Scott Elliott and I really loved coming out of Mizzou. And completely reshaping and giving a makeover to an offensive line that truly needed it, giving him guard Joe Thuney, who was awesome in his time over in the AFC. He's now coming over to Chicago to be a definite big help for their running game. We'll see how much impact he can have for the passing game, but it can't be much worse than last year, especially at the pressure rate that Caleb was under. You're adding all this along with hopeful development from second-year wide receiver Rome Odunze, and you already have trusted and consistent veteran threats in DJ Moore, their number 1 wide receiver, and Cole Kmet, who was their number 1 tight end. We'll see how much of a rotation there is with Loveland. This should all be more than enough for Caleb to properly develop as a pro quarterback. so long as he stays motivated and positive. And that's where Ben Johnson's role is really going to be tested. This is a guy in Caleb Williams that we've seen get dejected and get kind of loose in his motivation, loose in his attitude. You see it in body language and everything during his time at USC. And not so much last season, but we had questionable talk from him. And it's the only thing that I'm worried about with Caleb is I'm not expecting the Bears to jump straight into superstar level, or Caleb for that matter, and become immediate playoff contenders under Ben Johnson. I'm not even fully sure Ben Johnson myself. I think he's the right coach to get for a team that has a young core of potential on their offense. But he's still somebody that, I don't know what it is, gives me Josh McDaniels vibes. And McDaniels was, if you don't remember, not that guy in Denver with Tim Tebow or the Raiders, for sure. New England offensive coordinator, love that for him. Some guys are just built for it, and we'll see if that's the case with Ben Johnson. But I think you're doing everything that you can for your young franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams. I think Caleb will take that next step. I don't think you're going to see him be an immediate all-pro quarterback or anything, but this is going to be somebody who's going to take off. The focus on a stronger run game will only help him, and we'll see how his play-action rate can jump from that and benefit from all of this season, but I'm expecting a lot of good development from Caleb Williams in Chicago. But I don't expect him to be the number one potential breakout in the NFL next year. That is a spot reserved for really a team that is not my favorite, a team that I'm not particularly cool with because the vibes are off here in the DMV in terms of, this Beltway rivalry. But Baltimore's been holding down a lot of these top number one spots on Top 5 Tuesday so far. And it continues this week with the number one potential breakout in cornerback Nate Wiggins. Wiggins was pretty awesome last season for the Baltimore Ravens. He had 8 breakups. He had a 64.6% completion rate, passer rate, quarterback rate allowed. Who knows? And he had 1 interception. He held down his island. That's what they call it for corners. So being able to hold down, whatever their zone is. He held his island down on a defense that is very blitz loving, which everybody knows, and we talked about this with Coach Dick LeBeau in our interview in the past. A blitz loving defense that leaves cornerbacks like a well-adjusted, non-toxic, romantic who's just looking to find something real on Love Island, and that is single and vulnerable. You add strong veteran aid like Jair Alexander and Chidobe Awuzie to the cornerback room, and you still have your consistent top 5 corner in Marlon Humphrey holding down all the number ones. It's giving Wiggins the same thing that you're asking for with Caleb Williams, which is everything you need to continue a proper development, and you're already putting him on what is an incredible defense that has superstar potential all over, from the D line over to the safeties, even the rookies like Malachi Starks and Mike Green. This is a dude who could potentially eat very, very, very well and for years to come in Baltimore. So as much as I love my guy, Mike Sainristil, Nate Wiggins is going to be awesome in Baltimore, and that defense is going to be awesome. We talked about it already on the top 5 defenses to watch in 2025, and you can watch that, listen to it wherever it is you get pods. I almost said corners. It's a sleepy Sunday here in Virginia. You can catch it all on the 323 Network on YouTube. Subscribe to us while you're here. Go follow us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts. We appreciate you listening, and we will have plenty more in the weeks ahead with our top 5 storylines, our top 5 fantasy players to watch. the top 5 offseason moves made, even the top 5 best and worst teams for the 2025 season. This is all leading up to the big 323 NFL season preview show, the Glaunch. Glaunch is exactly what I'm feeling right now. Just glaunching it. We got plenty for you. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you. Choose carefully. Now you're seeing what you're investing in. But you did get a Lionel. We will have more for you in the weeks ahead, folks, but leave in the comments what you think will be the top 5 breakouts. Leave what you think the top 5 flubs by me are going through this show. What are the top 5 things I can do to get rest? Who knows? We will go over it all in the weeks to come. In the meantime, folks, stay safe. We will talk to you later.